Welcome back to the KickNPost YouTube channel and podcast. I promise we'll eventually put these on the podcast. Welcome back to Teal and Steel, episode 8, week 8 of the NFL. Trade deadline week. Usually we get really deep into how our teams performed, but I feel like we could give a quick overview. We lost, y'all lost. What's new?
It's gotten to that point.
It's gotten to that point. One score loss. Still can't close. Trevor's still throwing bad picks in the red zone. It is what it is. Kept it somewhat of a game. Got a lead. Gave it up as usual. Travis Etienne broke out. Been talking about that. Still happening. He is probably like Dynasty RB5 range now, like top 5 in Dynasty in terms of values.
Yep.
So if you bought low, congrats. Sell high time if you don't believe in him. If not, you can hold on to the kid. On the other side, Najee is at a sell low point. He's been getting...
Najee is at his lowest right now.
Yeah, people are roasting him about how he runs the ball now. His vision, calling him Trent Richardson 2.0. That offense looks kind of bad. We knew that.
Kind of.
Yeah, it's been a little bit ugly. But we both have reasons to rejoice, depending how you're looking at it. Trade deadline just passed. 10 trades at the deadline, which was an NFL record. So that's pretty interesting as well. Chase Claypool was a hot commodity. Apparently a few teams wanted his services, but the Bears went out. They gave their second-round pick, which will most likely be an early second-round pick, like top 5 second-round pick. So you could call it pretty much a back-end first at that point.
I mean, he was a second-round pick that we got him. So now that we've gotten that second-round pick back, I think that's pretty fair. Really happy with the Steelers doing that. I wanted that boy Chase Claypool out of there.
Yeah, you did.
So happy to see it.
Which side note, isn't it a little bit disrespectful they had him announce his replacement this year at the draft? Because he announced the George Pickens pick.
Chase Claypool did?
Yeah. And then...
I didn't even know about that.
Then, literally, mid-season.
I didn't know about
they
that.
They saw George Pickens was like, that's what we wanted.
He's the guy. Yeah, we don't need Claypool. And like I told, I think it was like last week, the one thing that he's supposed to be good at,
that's not him.
He hasn't even been doing good at it. I mean, he's still young. Hopefully, over at Chicago, he takes it up a step. I will say that the Steelers have a terrible offense. And the Bears seem to have a better offense right now than the Steelers, unfortunately. Which is kind of wild to say, but that's kind of what I'm seeing. So maybe he'll get some more opportunities out there. But I'm happy to get him out there. He gone.
Would you consider it kind of a finesse, what you guys did? Like, do you think the Bears overpaid?
Yeah. I mean, if you're out here sending Amari Cooper out for a 5th-round pick, and I know the age is a significant thing, but at the same time, I mean, you got a second-round wide receiver. It wasn't a first-rounder. Hasn't performed well really at all, and you gave him up for it. You said a second-round pick for him. Even though Amari Cooper's a little older, a 5th-round pick is nothing. In my opinion.
It's a contract, though. His contract was very lofty. Very expensive contract for that age wide receiver.
And I'm sure there's good reasons to why Chase will get sent for a second rounder. But in my eyes, I'd rather have the contract to deal with and all that. But I at least have a top 20 receiver than have a wide receiver that thinks that they're a top 3 receiver.
Yeah,
when they're not.
Yeah.
So,
do you think it opens up stuff for that offense at all, just as a threat
for Pittsburgh or for Chicago?
Chicago.
Okay, I was about to say, because Pittsburgh, I mean, technically, no. But, I mean, hey, maybe, because he's been buns anyways. Maybe somebody else can step up. Calvin Austin, I think he's out for the year, though.
Yeah, he got foot surgery recently.
But we'll see. For Chicago, I think so. I mean, Chase Claypool, even though I'm being really disrespectful, he's not no complete scrub. He's still someone to think about, and I think he blends pretty well with that offense. They're trying to run the ball a lot. He's a good receiver to do for sweeps and all that kind of stuff. I think it opens up for Darnell Mooney a little bit more. Really happy to see that if you're a Darnell Mooney owner in fantasy football. I wouldn't get excited, but it's something to look at and be interested in a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how they look.
Justin Fields has looked good the last 3 weeks. From a fantasy perspective, he's like QB3 the last 3 weeks in terms of production. So to give him a weapon is pretty good. We get to see what he actually is, which I don't know if that's necessarily the weapon that will put him over the top from a production standpoint. But
I don't think so. I think they still need that wide receiver one, but I think he's a nice addition, I guess, for what Chicago can probably get. Mm-hmm. He's still young. He still has plenty of years to develop, and if he can start getting down those jump ball catches, it could be great for Justin Fields to be able to just throw it up and give his receiver a shot. But I haven't seen him the past couple of years, and we'll see what he does in Chicago.
I'm a little bit surprised that Jerry Judy didn't get moved for the price tag that they were asking for. Like you said, that was another guy you trashed last week, just based on what you see on tape,
Yeah.
and maybe other teams are seeing what you see. Because I didn't think it would be this hard for him to get dealt. His price tag apparently was a second round and a fifth round pick, and nobody was willing to pair that fifth. Like if they gave the second, that's all they wanted to give.
And that's I think people are seeing it. And even though Jerry Judy had a good week last week, but we have to remember the only thing I'm saying is he's scared to get hit. It looks like that doesn't mean that's a problem that can't be solved. That's a solvable problem. That's a fixable problem. But it will make it look ugly sometimes. And I think that teams are kind of seeing that a little bit. He's not willing to really put his body out there to catch an inside slant.
He was tied to the Packers, and the Packers didn't want to give up the fifth.
Which is so stingy of them. They should have
That's
just
wild.
did it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers needs
that.
somebody. Even though I did trash on Jerry Judy, I still like him. I still think he has a lot of potential. He just has a really bad habit right now. But going over to Green Bay, which maybe would be a good thing. Who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers would be really mad at somebody like him that drops the ball a lot. I don't think the blend would have been really well. But I think Green Bay is in a situation where they need somebody. Doesn't matter, just somebody. Even Claypool would have been better than nothing.
They went for Claypool. Their pick
did.
just wasn't as high. So the Bears, I think initially wanted to offer the Ravens second round pick that they acquired, when they traded their linebacker Roquan Smith. I think they wanted to give that Ravens second round pick, and then when the Packers entered the mix, theirs would have been higher than the Ravens. So the Bears, to get that deal done, gave up their second round pick.
Yeah. Which overall though, happy for the Steelers. You got a nice little early second round pick. That's what we spent to get him. I haven't really been impressed. Now we can use this pick for even an offensive lineman right there, if there's one really available around that moment.
The way you guys operate, it might be a receiver in this class. So imagine A.T. Perry goes to the Steelers.
That'd be crazy.
You got to cop that jersey.
I'd get a jersey for sure.
Out the gate,
but the thing is, I wouldn't want us to get a receiver. We might, but I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I want us to. We have some needs.
Line. Yeah.
Line is the number one need. Second thing I'll bring up is the secondary. Even though we have Minka out there, love him, but every other position seems to be in shambles.
Rich.
We did go get somebody. His name is Jackson.
William Jackson or Jackson,
something like that.
Yeah,
and
he is horrible.
I don't hate it though.
I'm gonna have to show you clips after.
You might have to show me, but I don't hate it. If you think that he's talented and maybe we can blend him a little bit more, maybe with Mike Tomlin and that defense we can get him right. Sure. But I don't mind taking a shot at a corner, but I don't think we paid too much for him anyways. So.
7th round pick.
Yeah,
that should tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, so I'm not too worried about it. If we think that he's talented, we just need to get him more comfortable and get him right. I'm okay with it, but it's cool. But I do think the secondary corner position needs to be addressed. The offensive line needs to be addressed.
Make your defensive line more youthful. Somebody on the other side for T.J. Watt, or somebody up the middle, because who's your boy up the middle? Is it Hayward?
Hayward.
Yeah, love him, but
he's getting out there.
Age is catching up.
Age is catching, and this is a young team. It's a young team, so I could see.
And if you guys aren't looking to compete for Super Bowls right now, I could see somebody like him being somebody that you guys ship out in the future, maybe next year, or he might leave eventually to chase a ring, another opportunity at a ring. So it would be good to replace him with some youth before it's too late. Maybe you could coach him up.
I could definitely see that happening, and I wouldn't be completely against it. And I hate seeing Cameron Hayward go, but I think we're at that point now where we have to start we have to start thinking about these type of things, and it's kind of sucks as a Steelers fan to be thinking about this because we're always contenders every single year. Whether that's we may not be the number one team, we may not be a top 5 team, but we're always a top 10ish. We're finally at that point now where we're like a bottom 10 team. So
I was about to say, it's a bit of an exaggeration to give you guys the contender tag.
Maybe not contender, but we always had like players to
the media has always given you guys that tag just based on the coaching. Which I want to ask you about something that I saw, but based on the coaching, the talent, you're talking about the triple Bs at one point, the Big Ben, the Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell era. Yeah. You guys are always in the mix during that point in time. Yeah. Obviously, the generation before that were actually contenders and completing their run to the Super Bowl a few times. So it's like there was never a doubt coming into a year that you'd always have to think about the Steelers. And it was pretty much your division on lock for many, many years. Yeah. So, yeah, it's definitely different to see you guys not there.
Go ahead and hit me with the people talking about Mike Tomlin. Go ahead.
Oh, Terry Bradshaw? How did you feel about that? As somebody in the Steelers organization, Terry Bradshaw's been in that organization. To really downplay a coach like that, which I feel like he didn't have any merit behind what he was saying either. There's no proof to show otherwise. He called him a cheerleader type of guy. I feel like that was very disrespectful,
Very disrespectful.
very demeaning. Honestly, I don't want to pull the race card, but I don't see how there isn't some backing to that when the performance shows otherwise.
Because we've been a winning team.
Yeah.
I mean, for how long? We finally have a year where Ben Roethlisberger retires. We're getting to that point now, and now all of a sudden we're jumping ship.
That's the issue with me is nothing in the past. How long is...
Since it was like 20, I think in 2008, 2009 is when Tomlin got there.
Right. I understand maybe the standpoint to be like, based on what the Steelers' history and expectations are, even though he's been consistently winning and consistently making it to the playoffs or being above 500, the expectations are a little bit higher. But I don't think it's to the point where you could call him a bad coach or call him a cheerleader type of guy. Maybe he hasn't lived up to expectations, but I think he's made a lot out of some bad situations. I don't know how many coaches will be able to deal with Antonio Brown and keep that type of personality under wraps for that long.
And when Ben Roethlisberger was hurt, he was still able to stay even.
Yeah.
Even this year, not this year really, but last year, Ben Roethlisberger looking like a 50-year-old man throwing that ball, we still managed to do okay. We were undefeated team one year for 12-0 or something like that. With an older Ben Roethlisberger.
Were horrible undefeated team.
We were, but we were still there.
Yeah.
Defense has always looked good. I think it's very disrespectful, and I'm really ashamed to hear that he had that to say. Now, the only criticism I'd give Mike Tomlin right now, currently, is it's the same thing I've been talking about the past couple weeks. This offense looks bad.
Yeah.
It looks very, very bad. And as a defensive-minded coach, you need to put pieces or coaching in place to where this gets better. The offensive coordinator, you need to have a good offensive coordinator. Like that's just how it needs to happen. And I love the fact that the Steelers like to build from within and they try to stick with people, and I appreciate that aspect of them. But if it's bad and it's to this point, we got to cut ties, start over. Let's get an offensive-minded guy in there with the offensive coordinator. I mean, obviously everyone's offensive-minded, but somebody that's young, someone that's really creative. That's what we need. We have all the pieces that we really need. We just need the offensive line to support it. So that's the only criticism I'd give him is he hasn't really seemed to fix anything there, or he hasn't made any decisions, or really hasn't done anything. And that may not even be a Mike Tomlin thing. That could be just the ownership, and Mike Tomlin is just given Matt Canada, and there's nothing really he can do about it. So I don't want to even give him too much criticism for that. But I'm not going to give him any crap. Mike Tomlin is a winning coach. I love him. I told you he's my favorite coach. A little biased, obviously, but he is my favorite coach. And if there was a coach I can go out there and play with or play for, it would be Mike Tomlin. I appreciate all the things that he's done, and he's done a lot of great things for the Steelers organization. And for people to be disrespecting him now because we finally have a losing season, it's pathetic. So I don't want to hear it. I will be fine. I hope that the Steelers don't move on from Coach Tomlin. The only thing I want us to see is get rid of Matt Canada. Third video in a row.
I was about to say,
let's get rid of him.
That was trending on Twitter. We said get rid of Matt Canada, not the Canadian. That was hilarious.
He got to go. That's the only thing I'd give him criticism for. Is he hasn't, and like I said, it might not even be his responsibility kind of thing. But I believe it is. I believe head coaches are responsible for staffing their offensive
It depends on how much power they're given, but I feel like Mike Tomlin is a guy that would have the power to make
exactly. So that's something I'd give him some criticism for. I appreciate the loyalty. I think Mike Tomlin's always been pretty loyal with his staff. I appreciate that, but it's not working. And I think we got to start fresh. Get a young guy in there. I see people like I look at Philly play, and I'm just like, damn. It just looks so silky. It looks so smooth. And I look over what the Dolphins are doing with that young head coach, Mike McDaniel. It just looks so nice, and I'm like, damn, I still got Matt Canada. Like I think we can get somebody that's a little better than that, more creative.
Yeah, you mentioned again solid coaching, but those teams also have something that you guys do not, and it's a solid line.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even Miami's line, they move bodies and they do well. Teron Armstead was one of the best signings of the offseason for them.
And honestly, maybe
Hard to
we
get
are
creative
tripping.
behind a bad line.
Yeah, maybe we are tripping, and it may be just an offensive line issue. But when I watch us play and I see that we're running on first down, we're running on second down, and we're looking at 3rd and 9, and
then it's just what's coming.
It's just like we don't look very unique. We don't seem to have a play in mind to help our quarterback. I watch Jalen Hurts play, and I love Jalen Hurts. We know that.
Yeah.
We know that. But I love him, and I love how they've played around him, and a lot of quick game. I mean, even though he has a great offensive line, and the playbook is amazing for him, but they're doing a lot of quick stuff. Quick game, they have a lot of creative line play going out, a lot of things, and I just don't see the Steelers doing that. The Steelers are just doing, all right, we're just going to run a power right here with Najee, the bad line. Okay, that didn't work. Well, let's do another power right there. See what happens there. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, let's have Kenny Pickett throw. We have Deontay doing a fade route, and we have Pickens over here doing a deep out, and I'm like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? We could be a little more creative here, in my opinion. But he gets paid the money, I don't, so I could be tripping. But I think I've seen enough.
I think enough fans have echoed pretty much the same thing you said too. So you can't really. I don't think it's coming from a place of vengeance or anything. Like you said, you support the organization, so.
But yeah, no more hate on Mike Tomlin. Come on now.
Yeah, that was kind of disrespectful.
Come on now. Let's have back-to-back bad seasons, and then maybe we can have this conversation. And even then, I wouldn't say he's bad. He's just maybe we need an offensive-minded head coach at that point. That's the only thing I could see myself saying in a few years. But I need to see bad for a while before I start throwing Mike Tomlin under the bus. So
Najee, he's been getting a lot of flack online about how he's been performing as well. What's your stance on Najee's year so far? Which I'm always bringing back to betting, but Prize Picks preseason I did put money on Najee under 1150 rushing yards. That shit is scorching right now. That is.
Now, Najee's a little bit of a harder person to defend right now. I've seen some of the play that he's had, and he has looked quite questionable with some of his decision making. But one thing I will say is this is a very bad line. It's a very bad offensive line. He is working with really nothing. So when there is an opening, he is so used to having to make something out of nothing. He's getting to that point where it's hard to see him. He's overthinking a little bit too much. And I can't really blame him too much for that because it's more of a line problem. When you're constantly running the ball 20 times and there's nothing there, you're trying to create something. For those 2 or 3 plays that there is something, it's hard for him to automatically see that. So I'm not going to give him too much blame, but I do think he is overthinking a little bit. I think he needs to kind of go back to his roots with you're a big body back. You're not really a burst guy. You're not really a shifty guy. Yeah, he can shift. He can hurdle. He's an athletic running back, but that's not what he specializes in. I would love to see him just drop his shoulders a little bit more and dedicate that to bruising.
Style.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see him do. And I think that's fixable. So I'm not too worried about it. I hope Mike Tomlin and everybody over there is talking to him and working with him a little bit and getting him ready to go for future games. So I'm not really out on him yet, but I am seeing some stuff that I don't love. But he's young. So we'll see.
Who do you guys play this week?
We're on the bye.
Oh, yeah, you guys are. Yeah. We got the Raiders this week. I said I didn't want to get too much into the Jags. I'm going to keep it real brief because I do want us to get over some more of the NFL trade deadline. Well, trade deadline.
There's one that happened with y'all that
that I can't. I got to get into. Obviously, I'll kind of close on that one when we lead into more trade talk. ETN looks good. ETN looks really good. Like, scary good.
I think it was very smart of the Jags to move James Robinson.
Let him know that he's the guy. I feel like it took too long for them to get him the touches that he's getting now. They probably were a little bit worried on the sports science side. A lot of doctors have been saying that the way that ETN is built is not built for longevity, but he's like 215, about maybe 6'1". I don't think he's a small back.
I wouldn't say that's small.
They're worried about, I guess, his body type, but looks fine to me.
Which is interesting. I've seen some videos recently about that, specifically with, Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
But
oh, no, he got a weird body type.
He got a weird body type. So I'm starting to see some things like that. It's kind of interesting. But
It's more like trying to be predictive of injuries and longevity, which I understand. And they're doctors for a reason, but I'm not listening to any of that BS. I'm on the Travis Etienne train where that's concerned. Our wide receivers are still underperforming, which led to a big move at the deadline, which won't help us for this year. Once we went 2-6, we shouldn't be thinking about this year anymore. Anyway, the division is all but the Tennessee Titans. I'm pretty sure they're gonna run away with it now.
I'm still surprised that they're doing very well. But
I talked smack. That's why I started calling them crap. I said they were gonna win 4 games on the year, just like I said Seattle was gonna win 1 game on the year. They're leading their division too.
Amal's luck right now is off the charts.
I'm batting over in a lot of these bets.
A lot of different fantasy football.
Yeah, it's been tough. It's been a tough go. But in seeing that we have nothing really to look forward to this year, they look towards 2023. Hopefully, another year of Trevor development, and they give him a guy.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've been, especially for fantasy, I've been out on Calvin Ridley a little bit. I like him, but he never really moved the needle that much for me. But he is the best wide receiver talent we've acquired as a franchise in a very, very long time. Funny story. You know, it's one of the best that kind of got him caught for making bets.
Was it against the Jags?
Yep.
Hey, that's okay.
Atlanta to beat the Jags.
Well, I mean, that's obviously that's going to be a little different.
Last year.
He's going to pick his team, but...
Yeah. I think it was a great move. And the price we paid wasn't that bad.
What'd y'all pay?
It's conditional 4th.
Oh, that's not bad.
Like a 5th
How
that
old
gets
is
into a 4th. And I think it's a second. I think it's a 2nd and a 4th.
How old is
a 2nd and a 5th that goes into a 4th.
I think he's like 27, 26.
Yeah, he's older. He came out of college later.
But he had a whole year off, so I think it's a great move for y'all. I like Calvin Ridley. I watched him in college a lot. You know, I don't watch a lot of college football, but Calvin Ridley is one of the guys I've been
route specialist.
I like guys that can run good routes. He runs some immaculate looking routes, and I think
he's a dog.
He is. Yeah. And I think pairing him with Christian Kirk and Zay Jones. It's going to be nice.
And Travis Etienne out the backfield, that could be cheat code. And Evan Ingram is learning to catch the ball again.
Because you're properly using Christian Kirk now as a number 2. You have a viable number 1 receiver. Is he a top 5 receiver? Probably not even a top 10 receiver, but he is still a very talented receiver. Pairing him with Trevor Lawrence, I like the move for y'all a lot, actually. I think it's a great move.
Yeah, I would like us to still add a receiver with more size. Calvin Ridley is a little bit on the smaller side.
Would you have wanted Claypool?
Not at a second-round price. Price. That was too expensive.
What about
I wanted Judy. I feel like, to be honest, if we could have still found a way to pair Judy, get Judy
you
this
said
year.
Size?
Yeah. Judy's a little bit of a bigger receiver compared to the ones we acquired. He just looks smaller on screen, obviously, next to, Courtland Sutton.
Yeah, he does look a little smaller on the screen.
But he's, I think, 6'1". I'd be surprised. I'd take that. But having a trio of Judy, Kirk, and Ridley next year, I'd be over the moon. That'd be a really elite trio, in my opinion.
And you wouldn't even have to use Zay Jones, because we talk about Zay Jones a lot, but...
I like him.
Right.
I like him, but he's too much of a focal point for this offense. Yeah. Just like I keep hearing people, just wait till Marvin Jones gets right.
That man's about 32, 31.
Wait till Marvin Jones gets right? That's
old.
That's what I'm waiting on?
At this point, Marvin Jones is out of the picture in my mind.
So, to add a receiver of Calvin Ridley's capabilities in this market too, where I think he already has a contract from Atlanta that already, because of the market, is a very affordable contract for a wide receiver. I was happy to see that come across the screen. I was a little bit surprised, but I was happy to see that, and it shows that they are looking to next year because,
and I think it's great for y'all because I remember when you guys picked up Christian Kirk and Zay Jones and all that, you kept on mentioning that it's the Jags. We can't really get that kind of guy. So for what's out there, out of all the receivers that got moved, and even could have been potentially moved, so the Judys and the Cooks, I'd say Calvin Ridley is up there with probably the best option. So y'all walked away with the best free.
We didn't pay Cooks because obviously he's a little bit up there in age, and he's looking for a better situation. That wouldn't have been a good trade for him at all.
I'm surprised that Green Bay didn't give him something.
The price point.
They're so stingy over there in Green Bay, man.
But they will pay a second-round pick for Christian Watson.
No, man. Yeah. Cooks is out there. Cooks is fine. He has a little simple little thumb injury right now. He's fine.
He set up for personal reasons. He's mad. You saw the tweet?
I didn't see it, no.
Yeah, he sent out a tweet talking about don't take his kindness for weakness or something like that. There's a lot about his career that people have been lying on, and He went on a little bit of a mini rant in a little tweet, and then sat out this week, Thursday night football.
That's
So
what it was. I
things
thought I
are
saw
getting-
that injury thing. Maybe that was just a little.
Yeah, the coach said if you don't practice, you won't play, and he's out for personal reasons. So we'll see if he plays for the rest of the year, but I don't know.
I didn't see that actually.
Yeah. It's a little bit disheartening because I like Brandon Cooks as a player, but if he feels like he is getting kind of shafted in his career, I understand. Sticking up at one point and be like,
everybody keeps moving him around, but he's
He's
always
been
producing
everywhere.
But nobody wants to stick with him.
New Orleans Saints, Brandon Cooks was a dog, and then he gets moved to, where was it? Patriots next?
Patriots.
And then he spent a year there. They made it to the Super Bowl. He gets concussed in the Super Bowl. They lose the Super Bowl. Then he goes to the Rams on a really big deal. They go, never really pans out how they planned it in the Rams. I think he spends 2 years there. Gets shipped out. Just all over the place. Can't find a home.
I think he'd have been great for Green Bay. He's a consistent receiver. I think Aaron Rodgers would have really appreciated.
He would have loved
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, but the people just are stingy, like you said.
Yeah. Green Bay is being way too stingy. They had Judy. They had Cooks. They had Claypool. They had so many options out there. They could have even wanted to go get Calvin Ridley, even though that would have been kind of stupid.
It wouldn't make sense for them.
It would have been a little stupid, but it's better than nothing, in my opinion. Because how many more years do you think Aaron Rodgers plays?
3.
So,
yeah.
Be like, hey, maybe this year it's a dud, but next year.
Yeah.
It would have been better than nothing. So, I don't know. Green Bay being way too stingy.
Kareem Hunt didn't get moved. That was a surprise. The asking price was a 4th-round pick. We had that discussion previously. Why didn't the Jets go get Kareem Hunt? How did the Bills not pay for Kareem Hunt? I don't know. Price point seems low to us. It seems low in some situations, but not low
4th
enough.
Rounder for a running back it's a little high, but at the same time, like, he's a difference maker. If Buffalo would have got their hands on Kareem Hunt,
that's what I'm saying. I feel like Buffalo was trying to sign Leonard Fournette in the offseason.
Kareem Hunt's better than that.
I think so too.
Especially for what they do.
Yeah.
Because Lenny's he's a good pass catcher, but Kareem Hunt is a top 5.
Kareem Hunt was like
pass catcher at the running back position.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, crazy to me.
And also could run inside the tackles and stuff. Kareem Hunt could do a little bit of everything. So I'm really surprised he didn't get moved. Who else was supposed to get moved? Judy didn't get moved. Cooks didn't get moved.
Alexander Madison. They said his name was out there, kind of ringing. A big move that surprised me in division is T.J. Hawkinson. They sent T.J. Hawkinson to Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by that too.
In division, you have to face him twice.
And people say that if they move somebody in division, that's a bad look about that player. So I'm wondering, is there something with T.J. Hawkinson that we're not really seeing?
Yeah.
Because I thought he was all right. I thought he was a nice guy.
He's your run-of-the-mill tight end, I thought.
Yeah.
Came in with a lot of hype. Hasn't lived up to it yet.
He's looked okay. He's had his games.
It's up and down. He's a decent run blocker. But for the price point, he hasn't really lived up to that yet. He was a mid-first round pick, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was a first rounder.
So, those guys are supposed to be the it guy, and it hasn't worked out. But to trade him in division.
What was the price point they got?
2nd round pick, I think, and maybe something else. Yeah.
Which, good for Minnesota.
Great for Minnesota. They lose Irv Smith for the year, and they upgrade, if you ask me.
I think it's an upgrade. And I think if TJ can stay healthy, having Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Madison.
So much to work on.
TJ Hawkinson is that's a nice addition.
They're 6-1, which they've been quietly winning games.
Quietly.
You see the one, it's funny. Minnesota won their one loss came in primetime and they looked awful. And now everybody's
out on them because
everybody's like,
bad.
yep, it's Minnesota, and they haven't lost any other games of the year. They're quietly 6-1 at the top of the division, and nobody cares.
Everybody's looking good on that team. Kirk Cousins is looking pretty good. Justin Jefferson's obviously looking pretty good. Yeah. Adam Thielen's starting to pick it back up now. Dalvin Cook seems to be getting back on track. Now they got T.J. Hawkinson. Impressive.
They make it out the division, I feel like, without a doubt. And we'll see what ends up with them. Other moves, NFL trade deadline, what we looking like.
We also have the Broncos with Chase Edmonds. I guess.
Are you high on that? I'm not.
I wouldn't say I'm high on it, but I am kind of relying on it, I guess.
Oh, fantasy-wise?
Yeah, fantasy-wise. I have Chase Edmonds, and he was supposed to be the number 1 back in Miami. Obviously, isn't the number 1 back anymore, which we also didn't mention. Jeff Wilson went over to Miami.
That I'm a little bit more worried about if I'm a Raheem Mostert owner, which I've been getting a little bit of backlash in group chats about that. But
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy to say. I think Raheem Mostert's that guy, but I mean, what has Raheem Mostert been doing the past 5 years or 4 years?
Durability.
Durability.
Issue, yeah.
And so we all know that I think he's going to go down eventually.
I feel like Miami wanted to use 2 running backs. I've watched games where they try to sprinkle in some Chase Edmonds, and it just does not look the same. I think Jeff Wilson is just a slower, a little bit more of a bruising version of Raheem Mostert. Almost the same build when you see them kind of like side by side. Raheem Mostert's way more of a burner. Jeff Wilson's a little bit more imposing when he runs the ball.
I think that's what they're looking for.
And they're going to try to go like thunder and lightning, kind of like Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara like 4 years ago. Yeah. I feel like that's what they're going to try to go for. And that's going to hurt Raheem Mostert's fantasy production because he's already not getting a crap ton of red zone touches, and he's already not getting a lot of opportunities to run the ball because you have Hill, who has 1,000 yards pretty much in 8 games, and you have Waddle who has 750 pretty much in 8 games. Yeah. So, like...
I don't know. Yeah, I agree, though. Raheem Mostert's stock is going down a little bit in my eyes. I agree with you. I'm surprised that people don't agree with you.
People said that I'm overplaying the acquisition, but I feel like the fact that you get rid of Chase Edmonds and you immediately bring somebody back in.
Chase Edmonds was the highest paid running back on that team.
Yeah.
And they moved him. Which, even going back to the Broncos, like I said, I'm hoping that he does something kind of decent, but I mean, they are looking for somebody. They're giving the ball more times to Latavius Murray. That's kind of depressing.
It was Latavius Murray and Mike Boone, and then Mike Boone ended up on IR, so you figured they'd force feed Melvin, and then they bring another back in there to make it murky. I don't know.
I don't know what they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for some speed. Maybe that's what Chase Edmonds is, his speed. Then that's why I don't think it really blended well. Yeah, I don't think it blended well with Miami because you got 2 speed guys.
But Raheem Mostert's a speed guy too, and it works perfectly for him. Raheem Mostert's faster than Edmonds.
Yeah, and so that's why it's like, okay, so where does Edmonds fit in this? The pass catching? Well, Raheem Mostert can do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think he really had a role there. So now he's going over to Denver. Latavius Murray isn't a pass catcher. Melvin Gordon's an okay pass catcher, but they're trying to really ship him out. I don't think they're really wanting to use Murray that much. And Mike Boone, he's athletic, but never seems to be able to figure it out. So, I don't know. I think Chase Edmonds going in there. I think it does bring the stock down to Murray. I think that Melvin Gordon's stock goes down a little bit as well. It gets a little more worrisome for them. I actually just dropped Murray. I don't know, you were asking me, why'd you drop him? Like I said, I have a dynasty league. I don't really have a need for Murray. And now I have Chase Edmonds on that same team. I don't need both of them. And Murray's 32 years old. I don't think he's going to be able to keep it up. So
you're getting into the realm, though, where like bye weeks are coming up and you might hurt yourself by leaving that type of guy.
But my team's already buns.
No, I'm saying like somebody could go scoop Murray, and if he falls in the end zone once or twice against you, that's going to suck.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I know you said that why didn't I drop Hunter Henry? And I think most people would agree drop Hunter Henry. But the reason why I didn't is because, I don't know, with Mac Jones being a little more healthy now, Hunter Henry might be somebody.
Premium.
It's a tight end premium league. Yeah. I'd rather bank on that maybe, and maybe he can pick it up what he did last year. Yeah. And if he becomes a top 12-ish tight end, that's better than having a 32-year-old running back that they just acquired another running back. So probably a questionable move, but I thought about it for like a whole week. Like I didn't know what to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I thought Murray wasn't going to have much value for my team. My team already kind of sucks. So Murray's more of a win now kind of guy.
Talking about running back acquisitions, we talked about Jeff Wilson getting shipped out of San Fran, which this wasn't at the deadline, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it. The reason they're so willing to ship Jeff Wilson out is they went out and got a dude.
And he's been looking amazing.
Yeah, in that offense, they went out and got a dude. CMC returns to his hometown area, I'm pretty sure. I think he's from San Fran area. I know his dad played, I think, for the Niners at one point. He played for like the Broncos and the Niners, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong.
I'm not too sure.
But they go out and they get him to add to this offense, and it's looked crazy. In the first full game with the full playbook, looked insane. I think Elijah Mitchell should be back from IR the next 2 to 3 weeks. So then he'll probably be the Thunder option to CMC. But
which is what I think they're planning on. They don't want to give CMC the ball 30 times a game.
Nah.
And if you are planning on doing that, that's a mistake. So I think it'll be good.
It's interesting to see him get moved because Kamara had that same kind of like thing floating out there where he could possibly get moved. Nobody comes and pays for Kamara. So no, Carolina looks like they're committing to the rebuild. We thought DJ Moore was the guy who was going to get moved. He did not.
Oh, that's something else we didn't mention.
Yeah.
Shoot. Now, DJ Moore would in Green Bay.
That would have been perfect.
Come on.
Kadarius Toney.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk
He
about it
gets
too much.
moved. Green Bay, where were you at?
Well, that one I can understand. They don't need a Kadarius Toney right now. They need a Cooks. They need a DJ Moore. They need a guy
Why not Kadarius Toney?
Why would they go do something?
Are you worried about the maturity?
I'm worried about he's young, maturity, health. I mean, there's so many things to worry about.
He's not unhealthy.
We're talking.
Have you seen the clips?
Even the healthiness, you can throw that out the window if you want. Even just the attitude and then young. What is going on in Green Bay right now? There's too many young pieces around Aaron Rodgers. Too many. Aaron Rodgers is not having it. So I don't think Kadarius Toney helps that whatsoever.
It's a pass catcher, Matt. I feel like sometimes we overcomplicate things. You put him
But we're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Put him next to
Aaron Rodgers will throw anybody under the bus right now. He has been
He's been a good teammate this year.
He's been very verbal about his teammates not doing very well. Do you think Kadarius Toney will take well to Aaron Rodgers saying that he needs to improve? Probably not. We don't know. Honestly, maybe not. Maybe I shouldn't assume that. But the problem right now is Aaron Rodgers doesn't like that there is young receivers that don't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
So bringing in someone like Kadarius Toney that has had issues, hasn't really been that guy yet. He's very athletic and he could be that guy one day. Is not what they're looking for.
We've seen the potential flash.
Yeah, I think they're looking for a DJ Moore, Brandon Cooks. And they had their chance and they didn't take it.
So no, you allow Kadarius Toney to land in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid's lap. I don't know.
We'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of people are really. I know you're big on Toney. I'm not as big on Toney as you are. I think the potential is there. I think
I've seen
amazing.
the man go 12 for 171.
And I've also seen that man do nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying I've seen him go 12 for 171 when he's in the coach's good graces. You do that as a rookie.
But that's the question, though, is why is he not in the coach's...
Oh, no, he has his issues, no doubt, right? But, that type of talent, even if you have to play defense and kind of hold him off of other people's rosters, I feel like you do that, especially for the price. I think they got, a 4th-round pick? Did they even spend that for him?
I don't remember.
I think it was...
They didn't have to spend a lot for him.
That's the next thing. Take a shot, bro.
Green Bay, though? Are you tweaking?
I feel like
if you think Green Bay is the one that should be taking that shot.
I think when you're Green Bay and you look across the field, I know they like Alan Lazard a lot. Romeo Dobbs is a fun story, right? You're relying on who? Who's out there that you could really depend on to be in every play? I need a possession catch. We're going to this guy.
So we're just going to say Toney's that guy.
No, but you could take a flyer on him because he's free. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's that guy.
But you just... I get what you're saying. Obviously, with that talent level, it could be something. But why would Green Bay do that when they already are struggling with young players that don't seem to get the concepts, not where they're supposed to be? They can't read the defenses properly. There are all these things that are going on. I don't think Toney's going to be able to come in and be able just to know all these things. That's why I'm saying like a Brandon Cooks or a DJ Moore would be 100 times better in my eyes. They still got a few years left. How many years does Aaron Rodgers have left? Just a few years. I'm sure Brandon Cooks could come in and he would understand how defenses work. He wouldn't need a whole lot of coaching. DJ Moore, I believe the same thing.
Yeah, he's fairly young too.
He's fairly young too, and he would be like the best case scenario for them. He would be somebody that I would be willing to pay quite a bit to go get if I was Green Bay. So bringing in somebody like Kadarius Toney to me just doesn't seem like a smart move. It's already a problematic offense right now. Aaron Rodgers, even though he has been pretty good this year when it comes to complaining, he's still Aaron Rodgers, and he still has done it a couple times. So, I just don't think that blend would be really well. I don't think it would fit.
I think Kadarius Toney takes Miko Hardman's job by the end of the year. If he buys in, if he stays in the coach's good graces, which is easy to stay in the coach's good graces when you have the air raid offense. You know they're not really going to be. They're going to utilize your skill set
You have
pretty
Andy
heavily.
Reid,
Patrick Mahomes.
which is a coach that people like. You got Patrick Mahomes, a generational quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't really have that guy a receiver, so you can't really complain about you not being that guy. You can be that guy in this offense. You legitimately have a shot at it. So
I kind of want to start him this week.
Oh my god. Man, well, tweak it.
No, I am in a few leagues where I'm struggling with the bye weeks. That's why.
Okay.
Like I had one league. I had one league. I left Brandon Cooks in.
This week.
Yep.
I did too, but on purpose because I had nobody else to play.
I don't know.
I was like, maybe he changed from out to healthy. I don't know.
It's tough too because I was at work and I knew I had no opportunities to do anything. I checked the couple leagues I could, which not much. The out. JT.
He says he's officially out
again. Yeah. Jackson season, or is it Zach Moss season?
Oh, that's right. Zach Moss did move there. I don't know about Zach Moss.
I was just being a little bit facetious. It's not really Zach Moss season. It's kind of interesting though that they moved Naeem Hines on that week when they know that he's not feeling his best. So I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with JT, man.
Enough.
I mean, I'm gonna keep telling you
this. Re-aggravated the ankle, but
I'm gonna keep saying this though. I'm not too worried about it.
I'm cooking up a trade in the league.
I think if you're in redraft, yeah, you're 100% worried. Like if you have
shouts out to wifey.
If you have JT, she did move him.
She moved him on her own accord. She said, "I'm done with him."
She
moved him and Metcalf for Barkley.
I think
it's looking like a good move right now.
And looking like it's pretty solid. Yeah, if you're in redraft and you have JT, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we gotta hope that maybe in the next week he's feeling okay. Maybe in a couple weeks. But if you're in Dynasty like I am and where I have him, I'm not. My team's already kind of losing. I'm already thinking about rebuilding. So it's nice to have a running back that I know was young and could have a few more years in him. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, redraft, yeah.
If you can sell still on JT and go get like ETN and a pick, I like that. Or you could get like
to my Dynasty.
Yeah. If you could flip JT into a younger back and a pick, which I'm saying younger, JT's 23. He's super young.
I just don't know. I probably could sell JT. I just don't know if you could sell him right now for him.
ETN?
Yeah, ETN. I just don't think.
I'm cooking up a deal right now with Chris in the Dynasty League. I'm trying to give him JT and Adams. And
Devontae Adams is a significant throw in.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get ETN, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith.
Oh shit. Do that.
I'm trying to do that, but he's not. He's trying to finesse me. He wants to give me James Cook. I don't want James Cook. Right?
Someone try to offer me James Cook.
Or he's trying to add AJ Brown to the mix. So he wants AJ Brown, Devontae Adams, and JT, and then he's giving me like Devontae Smith, Travis Etienne. Still no Garrett Wilson. He keeps trying to get Garrett Wilson out the deal, right? And then like James Cook and Devin Singletary, and I'm like, you know my price point. Like if I'm gonna rebuild, I'm gonna rebuild. I'm gonna go super young. You're getting JT. JT's 23, ETN's 23. They're the same age.
Somebody tried to offer me James Cook in a redraft trade, and
did you kick him from the league?
I don't have the ability.
At this point, James Cook goes even further down on the totem pole with Naeem Hines getting acquired.
Yeah.
So I want no parts of it at all.
It was let me see what the trade was. So it was DeAndre Swift. I think it's a trade that I've talked to you about in the past. I have DeAndre Swift. He wanted DeAndre and Deontay Foreman, and he was going to offer me Lenny, Amon Ra, and James Cook.
Which I want Foreman from you, by the way, and KickNPost that, but whatever.
I'm still thinking about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with all y'all. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh God.
I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm trying to think about it, and it keeps burning my brain out.
I want him, man. I want DeAndre.
So I don't know if I should just give him up because I know that he's.
Your selling point is now.
He's win now, and this is the only time I'm really going to be able to sell him. But another part of me
this week again.
But another part of me is wanting to see what else I can get from him, from other people, because I'm not trying to only trade with you. If y'all are watching, nobody's talking to me about these trades.
People are hitting me up. People want Devontae Adams from me from the low. People want Mark Andrews from me from the low.
Do people just hate me? They don't want to trade with me because I put Deontay Foreman on the trade block. I put what's the on the trade block?
Somebody else that is not of much significance.
But okay, Deontay Foreman though I think is worth the conversation.
He is, but again, he's a 26-year-old back off a torn Achilles. He's had 2 good
But I
weeks.
thought like somebody would like. I know you win now, but I thought someone would now would have reached out already.
I am reaching out.
Okay, but it's just you. Why is nobody else that's winning now reaching out? Like, no one else is being willing to like move a second round pick for.
They're not because people are thinking
for a win now.
They're thinking it's a flash in the pan, which, as far as it's listed right now, Hubbard comes back healthy. They might be splitting work. We don't know. It's not a good offense to kind of take a chance on.
Foreman has looked good. He's been ran against the Bucks for 150 yards, 170 yards, whatever, and a couple of tutties.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the talent is there. So I'm not going to act like Foreman is just some scrub. He's not no scrub. He is someone that is decent. So
how much can you rely on him in Dynasty? That's the
thing.
$1 million question.
And I might honestly, I'm thinking about it. I do need a quarterback, and even though Russell Wilson isn't exactly.
He's not retiring anytime soon.
He's not retiring anytime soon. That's the best point. And I had Matt Ryan, and now
he is starting. He's not retiring anytime soon.
And like I said, I do have duties, so that would be a good pair.
Technically,
a good pair.
Technically, yeah.
It'd be a pair.
Yeah,
it would be a pair.
They're not able to cut ties with how much he costs. So, in terms of longevity, you get a starting quarterback for at least the next 3 years. I'm taking a huge risk because after this year, there's nothing tying the Panthers to Foreman, and you know how quickly running back turnover could happen. I'm pretty sure the Panthers acquired some picks. They could go out there and get one of these younger guys that's in the draft.
So you want Foreman? What else did you want? You want a Foreman and something else?
I think it was Cooks. I don't want Cooks now, so I'd have to reassess the situation.
So Foreman and Russell Wilson.
I'd have to look for something else because Cooks in Houston scares me. I was hoping Cooks got moved and then he'd be rejuvenated and excited to be on a different team. That didn't happen. I don't know if he's even gonna
play this year.
I don't know if he's gonna lock in and be like, okay, for my stats and for my legacy, I'm gonna keep riding this out, or if he's gonna turn into Kenny Galladay and just be a cancer, right? So I don't know. So I'd have to look at the rest of the team and see what else you got. But I have to pair something with Foreman if I'm gonna give away a quarterback. I think it's only fair. You don't want to, you don't want to argue that, but it is what it is.
Yes, like I said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm at this point where I'm just fuck it. Just we'll send the trade out.
Whatever happens, happens.
I don't even know. I might have to go in the chat though and be like,
help.
Not help. I'm gonna be like, if y'all don't want me to move somebody else to Amal's team.
Jeez, don't even do that.
Acquire Foreman before I deal with them because they got mad at me last time I deal with you because they're like, Amal's team is gonna be overpowered.
Nobody's saying anything now. I've gone 0-2.
No, I understand.
Since acquiring Mark Andrews.
They've been wrong so far, but I think it's fair to reach out because I just don't want anybody thinking that we're conspiring or anything like that.
Ramondre Stevenson has been a top 10 running back.
He has been.
You have a first-round pick on top of that, which my first-round pick is getting more and more enticing. Yeah, you didn't.
Oh no, you didn't want Cooks. You wanted Deontay.
Oh yeah, because you're picking now. Yeah, I'd still do that deal. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Might offer it again after this. So.
Yeah, I actually went back to go accept it, and it wasn't there.
Really?
I might have played.
Say less.
I wanted to do playing, but now I want to.
I want to
reevaluate them. I want to reevaluate
again. My running back crew.
Leave it there though, okay?
Rough. I will say though, I'm dead ass. I'm gonna be putting in that chat. Someone, because I think it's fair. I know everybody has their opportunity to reach out and try to get him, but I don't want to be getting mad at me for dealing with you. Because they got mad at me for dealing Mark Andrews to you, and now I'm helping to fix your team on your running back situation, putting your team again possibly over the top. Right. So if you really are saying Foreman's going to put my team over the top,
he ran for 150 plus yards and 2 tutties against Tampa Bay.
You know what I'm betting on?
Against Tampa Bay, I don't get
that Tampa Bay run defense.
Chuba Hubbard is okay.
No. What I'm betting on, I'm going to be 100% with you. Running backs in this Carolina offense have historically been able to produce. You had a big Mike Davis year. Where's Mike Davis this year or last year? You don't even remember, right? You have
He was on
CMC,
Baltimore.
obviously. Yeah, but he's looked awful, right? But Mike Davis was a starting running back in fantasy the entire year when CMC went out. I think the way Carolina uses their running backs is very smart. But that's the thing. I'd put him almost in that 49ers type of realm where you just put a body behind what they scheme and it works. I can't guarantee that Deontay Foreman is going to be their guy past this year.
I mean, you can't, but your team is.
I can't even guarantee.
Your team is built on what?
A lot of non-guarantees.
Win now, and then what'd you say? Quarterbacks are what?
Currency. Yeah.
So that's why you got plenty of quarterbacks. So you
Marcus,
to give up
Russell.
You to give up Russell Wilson, that's already been looking disappointing, for a potentially a starting running back for your team and a young wide receiver that I love. I love Deontay Johnson. I'm very depressed that I'm even thinking about moving him, but I have to.
You don't want to play George Pickens and Deontay
I
Johnson.
have George Pickens and no, I got George Pickens for that first rounder, and I think I threw in my third rounder to make it a little bit over the top, which I don't regret. Jorge Pickens, he's the future. He's the future, bro.
Yeah.
I know that I overpaid a little bit, but I had to get my boy. I think even though my Steelers are kind of disappointing, he's the future.
I like it.
We'll see it. I've just seen the way he plays, and it just looks too impressive to me to pass up.
That stock went up a ton.
Great hands. Route running is he's not really much of a route runner, but he has great hands, great jump ball ability. Has that dog in him.
Yeah, he does.
That dog.
He does.
Could fuck me up, but we'll see.
We'll
see. Hey. Like I said, I don't know how I'm doing. So if I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down with Jorge Pickens on my team.
I'm gonna give you my fifth plays and my price pick plays, which we have a full slate because we're recording this after Thursday, which I didn't have anything cooking for Thursday. I couldn't come up with anything. Actually, I did have something cooking for Thursday on Flip. I had AJ Brown over a touchdown. That hit. I had Miles Sanders over a touchdown. That hit. I had Miles Sanders over 79 rushing yards. That hit. I had Philadelphia money line, so the Eagles to win. That hit. And I had AJ Brown over 69 receiving yards. He got 59.
Oof. Tough. Which I do want to take a moment and pay my respects to Miles Sanders. I don't think we've had a moment that we've talked about him too much. No. Let's take this moment right here. So, he was the joke of the draft, pretty much going into this year. Mm-hmm. Now look at him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You were kind of high on him more than other people.
I was. I got a little bit worried when he suffered the hamstring, 2 weeks out from the season starting.
Yeah.
But I felt like the offense was just primed for him to perform. And I've been hurt by him so many years. So I got him when he was a rookie. He helped me win my first dynasty.
He looked okay.
My first dynasty chip as a rookie. The first time I ever played dynasty, I won the league, and he was part of that run at the back end. He kind of got a lot more of the touches at the back end and kind of started snapping. And I was like, yeah, I like this kid. Second year, dealt with injuries, didn't work out well. Third year, had a rough year again. Sold him.
And now he's finally back. And I want to say, just by watching, I watched last night's game. I also been watching a lot of the Eagles games this year because I have a lot of ownership of the Eagles. He looks good too, and it kind of brings up a question that I have for you because we kind of debated a little bit about this with the Miles Sanders and Kamara, on whether or not the Eagles should trade for him. And now after last night's game, does that change anything for you or?
No, because I like the stable. If you're able to add a guy like Kamara to your offense, do it. When you're 8-0, do it. Because I'm not saying that he needs to take touches away from Miles Sanders.
But he would take.
If you watched, but he's a worthy candidate to put on the field to take. You are taking touches away from Miles Sanders with Kenneth Gainwell. Do you prefer to have Kenneth Gainwell on the field or Alvin Kamara? So that's the mix. They're already taking touches away from Miles Sanders to get Gainwell involved or Boston Scott. Remove both those guys' touches and give those 12 touches to Kamara.
Yeah.
The Saints had a good run where both running backs, I know we look at it from a fantasy perspective, both running backs are top 10 plays for you in fantasy. Mark Ingram and Kamara.
That wouldn't happen.
That would happen in Philly.
That
This
would not
offense can
Not
sustain.
not
both.
with Jalen Hurts also taking touches in the running game with touchdowns. Now with you got AJ Brown, Devontae
When's the
Smith,
last
Dallas
time
Goedert.
that Jalen Hurts has really like unleashed himself in the red zone from that perspective? He's been dialing back on that a lot this year.
He has been, but he still
Yeah.
has taken some.
I think he has 2
We're,
or
we-
3
we're
on the
talking
year.
about Miles Sanders that had no touchdowns last year.
I know, but we're talking about this is an offense that's also been scoring way more touchdowns than last year.
True.
Like tremendously more.
True.
You had a Saints team that supported Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, and of course Drew Brees, which he was just dishing it around. But you can support all these levels of talent if your offense is hot enough.
You got
and
3
this
right
offense
now.
is hot enough.
You got 3. So we got to think of. So we'd have Miles Sanders. We'd have Kamara.
He would produce.
Jalen Hurts.
He would
AJ
still
Brown.
produce, yes.
Devontae Smith.
He wouldn't produce. And
Dallas
he has not been
Goedert.
producing. Dallas Goedert has had 2 good games this year.
That's what?
Go look.
No, he hasn't. Well, what's your definition of a good game? Because I think that Dallas Goedert has a lot of solid games. Is he
5 for 60?
Is he Travis? Oh, he has had a few of those, not just 2.
You could always tell.
Because I have him in fantasy. He always gives me at least like 13, 14 points.
You could tell where a person's player at based on the lines that Vegas set. They had him at 38.5 receiving yards. It's probably like 4 for 45 is his average, is what I would say. And you're talking tight end premium possibly, or are you just talking regular? Because his average.
Because I have him in black and yellow.
Okay.
And he's always producing me some pretty good points.
But yes, those guys take a step back. You won't obviously have Dallas Goedert getting this much. Devontae Smith has already taken a backseat in this offense. He has his boom weeks. He has his weeks where he's not as involved. You'd have the A.J. Brown, which even A.J. Brown's production hasn't been, like, super consistent.
It hasn't.
Yeah, so, like, everybody will pick and choose kind of their moments. But Alvin Kamara and Miles Sanders would dominate back there.
And Houston, obviously, 8 catches for 100.
He had a great
Last
game.
week, 6 for 64.
That's cool.
Then he had a bad week in Dallas, 2 for 22. Arizona, 8 for 95.
That's a beast one.
5 for 72. 3 for 26, but he had a receiving touchdown. 5 for 82. And the first week of the first game of the year, 3 for 60.
Okay, so it's always been like the 60 range.
It's just,
So about 4.
So
I say 4.5 catches for 65 is his average.
He's the number 3 tight end right now.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I'm just saying, like.
But you're downplaying it because in PPR, this is not tight end premium. 13.20, 11.6, 12.20, 17.50, 4.2, 12.4, 24. I did miss the first game, 9.
Yeah.
This year for fantasy, when it comes to tight ends, like that's what you're looking for.
Any year for fantasy when it comes to tight ends, yes, that's solid. I'm saying if we're gonna put it in production standpoint, like on field, he's averaging like 4 for 60 or 4.5 for 60
Yeah, that's
yards.
not bad.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying, like, adding Kamara isn't going to take much away from that from him. He's still going to give you that, maybe a little bit less. So I think from a winning Super Bowl perspective, you adding a Kamara into the mix.
So
why not?
My point was this. I'd agree with that. I didn't disagree with you when it came to that. Adding Kamara right now would help a lot. Would probably make them Super Bowl contenders. They're already Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, they're
and if anything, it'd put them over the top to even win it. But my thing is this: why though? Because even though I could put you in contention for this year, it doesn't really help you at all for the next couple of years. It doesn't really help you at all for the future, in my opinion.
When you're looking at an opportunity to win, though.
I know you're saying take it, but like,
yeah,
but like I don't know. I get what you're saying. But like,
obviously,
Miles Sanders has been very impressive this year. I think he's been playing very well. And Gainwell is a pretty solid receiving back. That's really about it.
How did LeGarrette Blount keep finding himself on rosters? He did like 2 things well, right? But he kept finding himself on Super Bowl rosters because you're like, if we could get a guy, which when we're in the red zone, he's getting in the end zone.
But my thing is like, how much would they have to pay for an Alvin Kamara?
Well, obviously, it was too high a price.
Too much.
They were asking for because the Saints dealt with the Eagles in the offseason. The Eagles had their first round pick, I think, from something else. And they wanted that back.
And Philly is a young team. They don't even if they don't win it this year, they're going to be viable for the next couple of years.
How many times have we seen young teams that are supposed to be viable for the next couple of years just never make it?
But why give up? Why give up a first round pick
that for sure.
when we can add it to a position that's actually in need?
You could get it this year. Next year's not
Maybe
guaranteed.
we don't. It's not guaranteed this year either.
Right?
Though Kamara hasn't been super healthy this year.
If you could go back in time with the triple Bs, right?
Okay.
And you could have reached out to Houston when JJ Watt was still in his prime and give 2 first-round picks to put him on that line.
Different.
No, you're adding a position that even though you didn't necessarily.
Can you play both of those people at the same time?
What?
Can we play both of those? Is TJ Watt? I'm assuming TJ Watt's still playing in this.
Well, let's say you do it like how the Eagles did it, where they just kept acquiring defensive linemen so they could rotate them out, or like how Jacksonville did it, where technically
that's fine.
Technically, you could play them at the same time, but you can't rotate them out.
You can't dish out Miles Sanders and Kamara at the same time.
You can.
You can, but why?
Why wouldn't you? You know how hard that is to guard? Okay, so you have to worry about Kamara either taking the handoff or going out and being an elite receiver.
No, I get
you got to worry
saying,
about Miles Sanders, who's a great pass blocker, but also he could take it and go power. So you have to worry about power. You have to worry about screen. You have to worry about screen. You could run both of them out the backfield.
No, I get what you're saying. And like I said, we're looking for a next couple years kind of thing. That's how I'm looking at it. I get what you're saying. It's a win now thing, but. I mean, it's probably biased to me anyways because I'm a big Miles Sanders lover. So I do think...
You're worried about the fantasy side of losing his perspective.
Which he would.
And you're worried about the value side.
Which he would lose his value. 100%.
The Rams said, fuck them picks, and got themselves a Super Bowl. Now, no matter what happens, they flamed out this year. You see this year, they could have tried to run the same team they had last year without Von Miller, run it back this year, or run the same team they had last year without Von Miller and OBJ, run it this year because we have talent. Next year we'll just draft. Nothing's guaranteed. They're like 2-1 this year, like 2-6.
No, that's true. I get what you're saying.
So like, while you have the opportunity to acquire that talent and just overwhelm the other team with talent, hop on it. I wish the Jags, when we were snapping, went out there and said, okay, what can we add to the offense to really put us over the top? Right?
I get what you're saying, and you're probably right, and it's probably just me being biased when it comes to Miles Sanders. I want to see him succeed, and it's tough to see him always getting in the mix.
I still think he would, though.
I don't think he would. I think he would get a lot of garbage touches. Not garbage touches, but he'll get the first down for first play.
Go look.
First down, second down.
All you got to do to see that. Go look at
what the Saints did.
Go look at the Saints model.
It's a different aspect. You're still downplaying Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is still a runner of the football. He still can run into different touchdowns, and he has done that before. Kamara is a really talented back. They have too many weapons out there. Miles Sanders in that mix, he would probably get you, 10 rushes for like 50 yards, and that's it. No tutties, no nothing.
50 yards. His yards per carry would go through the roof. I guarantee you. He'd be averaging at least 6 yards a carry. And also, if you go check the stats, he's already not getting above like 14 carries a game.
Yeah, he's not getting a lot of touches anyway.
So like, he's just getting more valuable touches.
He's gonna get less touches. And he's gonna get the less valuable ones. If Alvin Kamara was there, he's gonna get more valuable touches.
I'm running.
What do you know? What are you talking about?
I'm gonna send you highlights from when the Saints had both of the guys.
I'm not hearing that, bro.
I don't know how you're not.
I'm not. How would Alvin Kamara take the valuable touches?
Nobody wants to run Alvin Kamara through the tackle over and over again. But they don't want to. That's the problem with the Saints.
Alvin Kamara is going to get the red zone touches. He's going to get the passing touches. He's not getting
between the tackle touches.
Okay, yeah, if they get it right down to the goal line, yeah, okay, that's Miles Sanders' time. But even last year, they weren't doing that. Even this year, they've been giving it to Gainwell and Boston Scott. So there's no guarantee that Miles Sanders is going to get the touches down at the red zone.
I think we're going not. You don't see the potential.
No,
because you think that they're going to play it like they play fantasy. And it's not.
I'm not saying they're going to play like that. I'm looking from a football perspective. If you have Alvin Kamara, and like you said, Alvin Kamara is a significant upgrade from Miles Sanders, just to be honest. He is. I mean, Alvin Kamara is a top 5 back.
I think what Miles Sanders does well is not what Kamara does the best. I think Miles Sanders running between the tackle, running up the middle, I think he does that better than Kamara. What you're doing is sparing Miles Sanders the random plays where he's technically on the field as a pass-catching back, but nobody's worried about him being a pass-catching back. You save him from those opportunities. Or you mix it up where they're both back there, and now you have the defense with even more headaches. I don't know. I just think that the ball is already moving efficiently. It will be almost impossible to stop the Philadelphia Eagles offense if you add him to the mix.
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, more and more I'm talking to you, the more I'm starting to see what you're saying. But I am just saying, though, from a Miles Sanders perspective, I don't think he'd get the same amount of love that he gets right now. I think he'd be significantly decreased. I'm not saying he wouldn't have his good games. I'm not saying he won't, crack in a touchdown here and there. But what he's doing right now, he would not be able to keep if Kamara was there.
I think
especially if everybody else on that offense.
I think it goes up exponentially, but I think what you see, more than anything else, is Jalen Hurts kind of regress into what they think is more of a traditional playing style. He'll still use his legs, but he wouldn't have to worry as much. There'd be just overwhelming talent around him where he could consistently dish out the ball. He's not going to turn into Drew Brees, obviously, but yeah, I think he would. If anybody hurts more, that 40-yard average or 39-yard average rushing on the ground for Jalen would go down a little bit.
Yeah, it would.
He'd play it safer.
And Miles Sanders would go down as well.
I don't think so. But
why would you pay so much money to go get Kamara?
We'll never see.
Not use him.
We'll never see. They wanted their first round pick back, so we'll never see.
Which is way too much anyway.
Oh yeah, that was expensive. See, that we can agree on. A first round pick is a little bit exaggerated, but if they could have given a second and a fifth for Kamara, gavel.
Sure.
Immediately.
And I'll agree. Now that I've talked to you, I think I might be more wrong than right here. I think I agree with what you're saying. Right, win now is more important. If you can get the chip right now, take it. So I get it. I'm more looking too much in the future, but I mean, you're right. It is a team that
are not guaranteed.
The future isn't guaranteed.
So many teams been right there, like literally right there, and they're just like one more year, one more player.
Yeah,
and it never comes to fruition. They wait too long.
Even though I'm starting to lean with you on that, I still wouldn't agree with you about Miles Sanders. On that. Tweaking.
Price pick plays for Sunday. There is a huge slate. We've never had to pick from this many.
We should just pick one game.
One game? I like that.
Games. Or a couple games that we like that day.
I'm going to give y'all my Fliff play. I like talking about Fliff now. It's like gambling, but with fake money. So
I should love it.
That's what I'm telling you. You would love Fliff. You bet with Fliff coins, and then if you keep winning Fliff coins, you win XP, and then you can turn the XP into real money, and then it turns into a real sports book. So I don't know how it's allowed. I'm not trying to blow Fliff up like that, so you can't do your winning, but it's technically gaming.
No, it's good. We're good. Fluff, sponsor us.
Fliff, right? Fliff, send the bag.
Fliff.
Yeah, Fliff. You all here calling Fluff. But yeah, Fliff, send the bag, right? I got a 3 anytime TD parlay going. Jamal Williams, Joe Mixon, and Gabe Davis. I think it's 1,000 Fliff coins to win 15,000 Fliff coins.
F Jamal Williams, bro.
DeAndre already said today that he doesn't think he'll be 100% for the rest of the year.
Tired of his ass, bro. I'm tired of...
Yeah. But
tired of that entire Lions backfield right now. But I don't know who to play.
God. Pull up that... We're going to go with the Minnesota versus Washington game.
That doesn't sound good.
I said it out loud and it sounded worse, yeah. I don't know which game to go with.
Let me...
I want an explosive game.
Let me just look at who's playing.
I have a couple plays actually going on Fliff. So...
it's kind of the Rams versus the Bucks sounded good earlier this year, but now it doesn't seem that great anymore.
I don't want to watch that. But I'd take Godwin. What's Godwin's lines on that? Godwin's our boy. He didn't hit your line that you had. He got 6 receptions.
And that made me so mad because
he dropped one. He dropped one, and he ended up with 6.
And he also started off so strong. The first quarter, he had 3 catches. And I'm like, we're golden. But then Tom Brady decided to do
some Tom Brady stuff.
That was a lock, bro. It was. I got to update Price Picks.
Whatever Godwin's line is, I'm hammering that.
There's really no exciting games. I mean, let me just start saying some of these games. You got the Vikings versus the Commanders. I don't care about anything on the Commanders.
Jay Jetta's yardage total, if it's not 100, hammer that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Panthers versus the Bengals.
I think...
I like Higgins over. Or Boyd, one of them.
I'm more on the Boyd side.
Higgins had a bad game last game, so I think he didn't have a bad game, but he didn't have a really
good game. One good catch.
I think he picks it up this game.
Okay.
Bills versus Jets.
Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis.
I
Stephon
do
Diggs.
not care for Gabe Davis. That man did me so
I
dirty.
know.
UCF built my ass.
I know. He pissed a lot of people off. He pissed Jordy off, too.
My ass, bro.
Yeah, he was mad. Which I think he ruined a couple parlays for me. But they're going to have Sauce on Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs can school the rookie. But the rookie's been winning his battles. So I feel like Gabe against a second DB, I'm feeling it this week. Over on his yardage.
I'm going to look and see if any of these seem kind of juicy.
Devontae Adams' revenge game. We don't have a DB on our defense that can cover Devontae Adams. I think he gets loose this week. I think he does us ugly. Also, Josh Jacobs, our run defense has been a little bit better. I think Josh Jacobs could do us in as well. So yeah, those are two plays against our defense. Yeah.
Trying to see if anything looks a little juicy.
Probably
looking at receiving yards right now. Tyreek at 88.5 versus Chicago. I'm just gonna start naming some of these big ones.
I like that.
Waddle at 68.5. I
like that even more.
Josh Jacob, it's receiving a little too high. ETN at 21.5 receiving yards.
I don't like that.
Devontae's at 78.5.
Okay, here's the parlay.
You already heard everything you need to hear?
Devontae Adams over on yardage. Waddle over on yardage.
Okay.
If you're feeling spicy, Hill over on yardage, but
Christian Kirk 54.5.
No. But yeah, Devontae Adams.
Matt Collins at 40.5.
Devontae Adams 78.5.
Hey, this man's actually been doing decent.
Waddle 68.5. And then find a third one in there. I'm feeling Gabe Davis over his. I think his 54.5, but
52.5. Stephon's at 82.5.
So yeah. If you want to bet on good players, you can do the Stephon, but I'm a little bit worried about Sauce. Just a bit.
I agree. I mean, he's been shutting everybody down.
Yeah.
I like Diggs though. But I could see. I'm not betting.
Oh yeah, and Kelsey's back.
I'm not betting with Gabe Davis.
If Kelsey's back,
ever.
Kelsey's receptions. That's not going to change.
T. Higgins at 75.5.
A bit high.
Tyler Boyd's at 61.5. Jay Jettis is at 90.5.
Damn, I knew his was going to be so high. I might go Jay Jettis, Waddle, and Devontae Adams. Actually, I'm going to go for the flex. I'm going to go for all five.
D-Hop's at 82.5.
Who do they play?
Seattle.
Tariq Woolen, their rookie.
Cooper Kupp, 86.5.
I don't like that. The ankle injury scares me.
Mike Evans, 70.5. Chris Godwin's at 65.5 versus LA. Yeah, J Ram's out there though. On Mike Evans, so I don't love that.
J Ram gets burned a lot. So
I do not care. He is still a top 5 corner. I'd rather go to Chris Godwin on this one. I'm not saying that he can't, because I remember I made a mistake last year. I did Mike Evans under versus J Ram. All game looked good.
Oh, you mean the playoffs? And then he went bonkers?
Then he did that. Then he had that. So I'm not going to bet on any unders for Mike Evans, but I don't love the idea of it. Kelsey's at 70.5.
What's his receptions? That's the lock. This man will go 8 catches for 3 yards and 7 touchdowns. So,
Waddle's at 5.
What's Hill's?
7.
Adams
is 6.
It's Hill. It's the lock is Kelsey's receptions.
They don't have the receptions out yet. Stephon's at 6.5 though.
So when Kelsey's dropped, which will probably be 7 or 6.5, hammer that. Pair it with Adams yardage. Pair it with Waddle yardage. Pair it with.
We got Green Bay versus the Lions, so there got to be some Green Bay players, so like Aaron Jones,
Williams, over a touchdown.
Okay.
If they have his touchdown line, take Jamal Williams over a touchdown. It's a revenge game. I think it's his first game playing Green Bay, as probably the main back.
Yeah. Also, I don't mind the doing an Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon over.
I like Aaron Jones combined yardage over. That line hot. So if his combined yardage is 90 or something like that,
93.5.
Take that. He's gonna go at least 70 on the ground And then I feel 40 in the air is where it's at for him.
And Travis Etienne's at 104.
Sheesh. That boy been balling enough. Look, we're giving you the plays. Aaron Jones, combined yardage. Love that. Jamal Williams, over a touchdown, if they offer that. Over receptions on Kelsey. Over yardage on Adams. Over yardage on Waddle. That's the 5. That's the 5 flex play. That's what I'm feeling. I'm gonna.
I agree. I would take off the. Did you say Gabe Davis?
No, I left him off on purpose.
I don't care.
I went for the great.
What was the second one that you did?
Jamal Williams over on a touchdown.
That one.
Really?
I can see it happening, but I'm just not.
I like it.
Where's Green Bay? Green Bay still has a pretty solid defense. Lions have a good offense, though. I can see it happening. I just don't love any touchdown plays because you're just hoping for a boom somewhere in there. Swift, especially if Swift still plays.
If Swift still plays, it's a little bit troublesome. But all right, so if we're pulling the touchdown play out, I am gonna take that play out, and I'm gonna put in.
I like the Aaron Jones combined yardage. I think that's almost a lock in my eyes. Devontae Adams. Yeah, I like it.
Who's guarding him on the Jags? Sometimes you just have to look at the secondary and be like.
Yeah, but who did they play last year? Who did they play last week?
The Saints had Marshawn
Lattimore. So I guess that. Let me see if there's one that really kind of that I kind of like.
Yeah.
I do like Waddle.
If I pull that scoring, I'll probably just leave it at a 4 play then. Which I might do that, but.
I do like Waddle. Tyreek Hill, I could see Tyreek Hill hitting as well.
The yardage, yeah, that's the thing. Both of those boys could easily get it.
I also like the receptions for both of them if you're a receptionist kind of person.
Yeah.
Devontae, what was his receptions at? 6. I don't know. I do like Stephon Diggs as well, but I agree with you. Sauce does throw in a little bit of worry. I think that Stephon Diggs would be fine, but
me too.
But just the fact that there is a little bit of a question mark there.
But on good players though, so if you want to sprinkle them in, I don't mind it.
And who taught you that?
I do be trying to get a little
bit. Man, I ain't trying to get too cute. I told him, you gotta just pick you just gotta pick your guys.
Which gets me Kadarius Toney. No, I'm joking. I'm not gonna do it.
I would have walked out.
I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, check out the prize picks. Check out Fliff. I might drop the promo code in the description. Every time I say that, I do not do it, but I might because Fliff has been fun. It's not real money, bro.
Sponsors.
Can't lose real money if you don't have to bet real money. That's what I learned. You kind of earn real money on there too.
Oh, before we go into anything else, can we just talk about how many dubs I've been taking against you?
Yeah,
I've been taking on dubs on dubs on dubs. Which brings us to
Rashad Bateman is out for the year now.
Don't try to change the subject. I see what you're doing.
I don't even know, but I said I was done betting you if I lost that one.
That's crazy though because
it's on tape. I said I was done. If they
find a way to lose are you actually done?
If they find a way, I need to be a man of my word, shouldn't I? Like I can't.
But what was our bet going into it? We talked about the Raiders versus the Jags, and I was like, I'll take the Raiders on that one. You said you like Jags.
I'll take the Jags. I think we get right this week, even though I just said literally everybody on their offense is going to burn our defense. Doesn't sound like it makes much sense at all.
It sounded like me yesterday.
Yeah, it sounded like you last week. So maybe that's the play. They cook us on offense, and then we still find a way to win. You know, it's in Jacksonville, so there's that, right?
Yeah.
Although the last one was in Tampa, didn't matter. Anyway, this has been week 8. If the camera's even still on, I don't even know how long we're going. This thing we're just naturally flowing on.
Hopefully, because Lay's been out there waiting for like 30 minutes.
Oh, you didn't even say that. Oh, sorry. Yeah. This has been week 8 of Teal and Steel. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. We got Taco Bell to eat.
I just noticed it.